listening to High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Now back to your host, Matt Hatfield.
At this time, we got some special in-studio guests from Suffolk. They made the jaunt here to Virginia Beach. It's only about 30, 45 minutes, something like that. I don't think you hit too much traffic in the morning time. We got from Kings Fork High School defensive tackles, J. Reed Hardy, he's a senior, and Treyshaun Mitchell, he's a junior. Both were second-team All-State performers on our site, two of the best in the Southeastern District and in Hampton Roads, and both getting a lot of recruiting attention. We'll go over that this morning. And we have the head football coach in year number 3 at the helm. He once upon a time played for the Lansdowne Eagles in Virginia Beach. He knows what winning championships are all about, and last year his team at Kings Fork shared the Southeastern District title, got to the regional final, doing good things. We say good morning to Coach Scottie Littles and his guys, Treyshaun Mitchell, J. Reed Hardy. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us, or coming by, and we enjoy having you here in the program for an hour to go through it. And Coach, let's start right there at Kings Fork football year 2. You guys, first year showed some promise, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Heritage, but last year, 1-1 start. You lost to Western Branch, a heartbreaker. A lot of teams would have been devastated by that, but you guys reeled off the rest of the district, including beating Oscar Smith to snap that 99-game district win streak. Won a couple of playoff games over Jamestown, Smithfield. Lost another tight one there in the regional final to Lafayette, but it looks like the guys are starting to buy in and doing some good things over there.
Absolutely. I think last year was a testament to those guys' hard work, believing in the coaching staff. When we faced adversity, that senior class really rose to the occasion. It's one thing that we kind of teach at Kings Fork is, in life, adversity is going to come, and, how you handle it will determine what kind of life you live. And they did a good job of that last year, and this year's group understands that. What I'm excited about with this year's group is, they were there when it wasn't so good, and they were there when it was really good, and hopefully that experience and going through those emotions and losing a tight regional final, can carry over into this year and allow us to do what we have to do to have the success that we want to have.
Treyshaun and J. Reed, let's start with, I remember, Treyshaun, you first as a freshman coming off the field, tough playoff loss to Heritage. You had about 10, 12 tackles in that game. Coach was saying, hey, keep your head up, big fella. And you obviously going into high school right away, 9th grade year, you got in the field. And J. Reed, you came over from Lakeland. We'll get to that in a second. Your first year with Kings Fork as a junior. But Treyshaun, what was it like watching the transformation from a team that lost in the first round, didn't have a winning record, to last year? You stunned a lot of folks by beating Oscar Smith and had a really successful season.
Everything that I have is because of my team, and it was very hard losing to Heritage my freshman year because I set myself like a standard, and when we lost to Heritage, it hurt me. But, just got to get back up, keep pushing, and next year went 11-2, lost to Lafayette, but, we back at the grind, That's last year. We're not even worried about that. We're worried about each week. It's a battle. We just take it a step at a time.
And J. Reed, you were part at Lakeland junior year. I think that was part of the turnaround for them. Then you go to Kings Fork, just adjusting to the new school, and then you teaming up with this guy. You guys became a dynamic duo as a defensive side. People think of running backs, but you guys in the middle, people are like, I don't want to run up the gut against these two guys. What was the adjustment like for you?
It's crazy because me and T. Mitch played together in middle school.
Oh, okay, did you?
Yeah, so we already knew each other.
Bully.
And then I just transferred over there, and they took me in like I was already there from the beginning. It was a great start. Coach Little, he's a great dude, man. And my teammates, they just took me in.
What type of players are you guys? Let's sort of describe for the audience that may not have watched Kings Fork football play before. They'll maybe look you up on Google or watch your highlight tape on Huddle or going to check out a game on a Friday night this year. Let's start with you, J. Reed. What type of football player are you from the defensive tackle spot?
I'm a vocal person. I'd like to get my teammates involved and bring the energy, and like an energy guy to our defense.
But you, T. Mitch?
Well, I played D-tackle, but I'm more of a nose.
Okay.
I like to use brute force. The finesse thing is with like J. Reed. And I'm not really a vocal person, I lead by action because, it's just me. It's just what I do. Move at the beat of my own drum.
Before we go to the phones, Coach Littles, your assessment of their opinions of their games. Did they get that right? J. Reed's a rah-rah guy, and T. Mitch is more the get-in-your-face guy. What do you say there?
I think that's pretty accurate. J. Reed is the swagger guy. J. Reed brings the energy, the attitude. vocal when people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. He lets them know. T. Mitch is just kind of a lunch pail guy. Do your job. I'm going to do it really well, and I'm not going to talk much. But they both play off each other. They feed into each other, and it is a hard task to block both of them. And then you add Jordan Chambliss at the strong end, and you add Corey Foster at the weak end. It's pretty good set of guys that can get a lot done for us.
You want to talk to Coach Scottie Littles of the Kings Fork Bulldogs and a couple of his standouts, J. Hardy and Treyshaun Mitchell. Now is the time to do so at 757-687-9494. Give us a call at 757-687-9494. You can also hit us up on Twitter all morning long at HS Sports Talk 941. That's HS Sports Talk 941. You guys, your take on the scrimmage last night, you went up against a good Cox team, and we'll get Coach's take here in a second as well before we go to the phones. Last year, people may not have known about Tavion Robinson. He's pretty well known this year as certainly being the Tidewater Player of the Year and a two-sport All-State standout. And you guys certainly did some positive things in that scrimmage, I thought, J.
Yeah, but there's still room to improve. That's what we're going to get back at Monday. We're back at the ground. We try to focus on what we can improve instead of how good we are.
That's a good thought. Treyshaun, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, we have a lot to improve. Now with me, I feel like I can get more in shape because playing both sides of the ball, it's hard. It's really tough.
You're playing right guard on offensive line, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you got to have the energy to go both ways and the stamina.
Sir.
Better this year than last year, you feel, or?
Oh, of course, a lot more confidence. I feel like I know what I'm doing. Last year was kind of like iffy, kind of relying on like my center, Peyton Palin. But yeah, I mean, I feel good this year.
Good. Good. Coach, I know a word you used last night in our interview was physicality, and that's something you're probably going to harp on all year long. You've had a morning here to maybe even check out some clips from the scrimmage last night. Sort of your review of it.
Like I said, I thought they did a lot of things well. I think from a team perspective, we gelled well, better than we have in practice. But like I said, with as big as we are up front, as athletic as we are with that size, we should be able to impose our will on some opponents that we play. And I just would like to see those guys improve. I really appreciate the mindset that the kids have. It's not just these two. It's really the whole team of how do we get better? How do we improve on what we've done and what's next? We don't wear our district championship T-shirts to practice. We don't rest on that. We want to improve every day, every minute, every game, week to week. So I really appreciate that mindset, and it helps when you have senior leaders and guys that do what's right. So we're excited, and hopefully we can put it all together this year.
And another scrimmage next week with Heritage before you guys open up. What's your opener, Coach?
We open up the 24th against Wilson at home.
So Kings Fork High School football fans and Suffolk football fans, when there's a lot there out there, go out there on the 24th of August against Wilson as they take them on. Then I know after that, you guys will be thinking about revenge with Western Branch going over there to the zoo. You want to chat with Treyshaun Mitchell, the Kings Fork Bulldogs, J. Hardy, the two defensive linemen, Treyshaun a junior, J. a senior, as well as their coach, Scottie Littles. Now is the time to call in at 757-687-9494. That phone number to get you in here is 757-687-9494 right here on ESPN Radio 94.1. And here to talk with you guys, he's back from Smithfield. Keith, I know you were rooting against him last year, Keith, but you'll be rooting for him this year a little bit, right?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Coach? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. We played y'all last year. You got an outstanding squad last year, man. I said this team gonna be ready to go back in this coming year. And what is y'all team? How far y'all can go this year?
I think we got a chance to be pretty successful. Like the two young men spoke about earlier, we're going to take it week by week, game by game. But, we did graduate a lot of, players in Darren Butts and Sherrod Joe, Justin German, TJ Hart, Dennis Whitehead, Makai Whitaker. I mean, the list goes on and on. But one thing, about me and my staff is we really harp on player development, not only on the field but off the field. And I really feel like we've done a good job of that since I've shown up. And we've got people stepping up like Elijah Askew, Corey Foster, Damian Rose, Mark Dyer, Leo Wethington, Kahari Rogers. We got a bunch of guys that have been in the program that have done what they're supposed to do, and we got to put it all together. But we're still just as talented as we've ever been.
Yes, sir. I want to talk to you all to your two players. Did one of your seniors this year, last year, one of your seniors play on your offense line? I hope y'all two guys that made it run to the state.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes. Y'all have a nice day.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Keith.
Thank you.
You want to talk to Jay Reed Hardy, Treyshaun Mitchell, and Coach Scottie Littles, give us a call at 757-687-9494. That's area code 757-687-9494 here on ESPN Radio 94.1. And to piggyback off a little bit of that, Coach, and we'll get to these two guys, the school's recruiting both of them here in just a moment. Give us an update on some of those seniors that graduated. You mentioned Justin German, Darren Butts, and some others, where they're playing their college football, because I know you had a good senior class that moved on to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Darren Butts is at Hampton University. Dennis Whitehead is at Notre Dame College, Division II school in Cleveland.
Okay.
TJ Hart is at VUL.
That's Virginia University of Lynchburg?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sherrod Joe, Justin German, and DeMarco White are all at Pierce College, a junior college in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. And we got a bunch of guys going to Mekhi Whitaker went to Bridgewater. Peyton Fallon's going to Virginia Tech on a mission to become an engineer. So we got guys going all over the place, and we're excited for them. And that's something we pride ourselves on at Kings Fork is setting them up for a future outside of football. And we've got people going all over the place, so we're excited about that. And this next group batch of kids, we got a bunch of them that will have an opportunity to play college football with Jay Reed, Devin, Corey Foster, Elijah, Damian Rose. We'll have a couple of guys going on to play college football.
How many would you project out of the senior crop at the moment? Is there a number in your head yet, or?
Not yet. Off the top of my head, we'll probably have 6 or 7 guys going and play college football this year.
Okay. Now for you guys, Jay Reed and Treyshaun, when did you? I want to start with you, Jay Reed, being the senior. When did you know I could be pretty good in football? It was kind of the love was formed for it. And when did you know I could play in the next level? Have my college paid for free there.
Probably my sophomore year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing like really good football, but I ain't never know that I can play on the next level till after that season.
Mm-hmm. And this past year, what was different in your game as you went from sophomore to junior year? What were the things that you sort of showed that college coaches became enamored with?
Firing out the ball and getting to the ball, playing flat down the line, and physical.
What colleges have offered you so far?
ODU, Hampton, Norfolk State, Temple, Marshall, Campbell, and that's it.
Okay, so you mentioned some local schools there. Give me some take on some of the local nearby ones, and then would you consider going away from home to play college football?
I really don't know yet, but if I was, I think I ain't gonna say all
Which
that.
school? Okay. What are you looking for in a school?
Family like material, just like somewhere I can fit into, and they treat me like I'm family.
Have you taken some visits? Certainly going to ODU Norfolk State's right down the road, so it's not hard to get there.
Yeah, I've been to ODU. I went to their spring game and their junior day.
Okay. Anywhere else you've taken visits to, be it unofficials or just camps?
I went to Norfolk State too. I went to their junior day.
All right, very good. Treyshaun, certainly you got an older brother who's well known, and Taraji Mitchell played at Bayside High School, then Bishop Sullivan, became a 5-star linebacker, now at Ohio State University. Let's chat about him for a second before we get to your development as a football player. What has he told you about football, and what was it like growing up with him? I imagine you guys had some interesting backyard battles.
Of course. He's very, very competitive. Like, he's just on a whole nother level. I really look up to him because he always gave me advice. When people used to get on social media and throw shade at me or tell me I'm soft and big for nothing, he would always call me, tell me, keep my head up, just keep going, because you stop now, like it doesn't run in the Mitchell blood. Like we're monsters, like So yeah. What schools
of recruiting you so far? How many offers are you up to? I know it's a good number.
7.
7. Who are those that have? If you miss one, it's okay. But who's sticking out?
Virginia Tech, ECU, Temple, UVA, Maryland, Purdue, and South Carolina.
Okay. And you visited some colleges yet?
I visited South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Clemson, ODU. That's all I can think of right now.
I didn't think I heard Ohio State in that picture yet. No,
Ohio State too. Yeah.
Okay, you went there?
That was more of like I went there for a game.
Sure. Coach, you know a little bit about these two guys, obviously coaching them, but did you not play with a relative of Treyshaun's at Lansdowne, or am I wrong on the years there?
No, I did. I played with his oldest brother, Terry Mitchell, played quarterback for us at Lansdowne High School, was an extremely good quarterback, and led us to our success at Lansdowne. Like T. Mitch said, it kind of runs in his blood. He's got that bloodline, and T. Mitch is a very competitive guy himself, just not a very talkative guy. So but both those guys in there do a good job for us, and we're excited about where they're going to take this team this year.
And I imagine you saw him when he was like, what, a little tight, maybe 2 years old, something running around, right?
Nah, not that quite. But T. Mitch has grown since I've met him, over the years, and just even from last year to this year, maturity-wise, even physique-wise. I mean, he's done an amazing job in the weight room, and so is Jay Reed, and there's a bunch of other guys in that locker room that have really bought into our culture and doing a great job with what we want to do.
Well, I want to get to about Jay Reed here before we go to break. I remember last year at your scrimmage against Cox, you as well as one of your assistants, Pete Gale, longtime coach in the area, was the head coach at Great Bridge. I know he's very instrumental to your staff and your program's success. They said you got to watch out for this Hardy kid too, because people know about Mitchell, the name, and he certainly, when he got there to Kingsport from Lakeland, what was your thoughts? And as you watched him, was he better than you anticipated?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Reed is a good player. We were excited, that we got him, and he came in day one, didn't make it about him. Just wanted to be a part of the team. Until this day, he still does that, even though he's one of our leaders now. But he's very good with his hands. He's very explosive. Like I said, he plays with that swagger. He's the guy that brings the energy between him and Corey Foster. So I mean, we're excited about how he's grown. He's lived in the weight room this offseason. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's looking better and quicker than he's ever has, and it's going to be a fun season watching those two do what they do.
More to come with Kings Fork head football coach Scottie Littles and two of his standouts, Jay Reed Hardy and Treyshaun Mitchell. If you want to talk to them, now is the time. Give us a call at 757-687-9494. We'll get you through with these guys at 757-687-9494. You can also hit us up on Twitter, too, at HS Sports Talk 941. At the very end, we've got Fact or Fiction. We'll see who's got more sports knowledge between Coach Littles and two of his pupils. That's coming your way on ESPN Radio 94.1.
You're listening to High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Now back to your host, Matt Hatfield.
That's Thomas Simmons' music right there. We have some special guests in studio. We have Coach Scottie Littles in year number 3 at the helm of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, Southeastern District champions last year. Also had a program record for victories as they finished up with, 11, Coach? Is that right?
Yes, sir. We finished 11-2 on the year, and it was the first time in school history that many wins. First time playing in the regional final, first time district champ, first time beating Oscar Smith, first time player of the year, first time coach of the year. A lot of first times.
A lot of firsts, yeah.
We got that out of the way, and now it's time to continue to build on the legacy. The seniors last year built the foundation, and these guys this year are going to build the house.
Bulldogs trying to have some more first here. The phone lines are open at 757-687-9494. You want to talk to Coach Littles and two of his standouts. We have the junior Treyshaun Mitchell, 2020 D tackle with a number of offers, as you heard, and the senior D tackle Jay Reed Hardy. He's also got some offers on the table. Both were named second-team All-State on VirginiaPreps.com and forming arguably the best D tackle tandem in the area and possibly the state of Virginia. And guys, you just heard some music. What's your hype song, Jay Reed?
Meek Mill, Dreams of Nightmare. Got to be number one.
All right, that's yours. What about you, Treyshaun? What gets you riled up for a game?
I like T Grizzly first day out.
T Grizzly, okay. But you, Coach, you got something. You got the earbuds popping before a game. What are you listening to before a game? I don't know. Coach is. You said some country music. Wow, Coach. I don't know if Coach heard that. Treyshaun just said. I asked the two guys, what's your hype before it? And we heard some Meek Mill from Jay Reed, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Treyshaun, yours again was
T Grizzly first day out.
T Grizzly. Mm-hmm. And I said, what's Coach Littles? And Treyshaun interjected and said, probably some country music.
That is not accurate at all. Don't appreciate that, T Mitch. But I do enjoy some little bit of country music. But I'm a hip hop guy myself. I throw on some Jay-Z, some Lil Wayne. Back in my era, it was Lil Wayne. That was the big deal. So. But mostly some Jay-Z, some Lil Wayne, and maybe some Meek Mills. I can get down with Meek Mills, Jay Reed.
Okay, I'm going to go to the phones here in just a second for the guys that want to talk to, for the fans out there want to talk to Jay Reed, Treyshaun, and Coach Littles. But how many clips has Coach shown you from his Lansdowne days? I know he's probably had to bore you ad nauseum with them, right?
1,000. He shows every day. He just showed me something before we came in here.
Oh, really? Was it him sacking the quarterback? What was it? Okay.
Him running to the ball.
I think I've only seen one, but, he could use some improvement.
Oh.
He ain't Team Mitch status.
Oh.
Hey, T. Mitch, I held my own back in the day now.
Yeah,
Ask about me, T. Mitch.
Whew. Treyshaun, you better be careful. He might make you do some extra laps on Monday at practice. So let's go to the phones at 757-687-9494. When we go out to Suffolk, Devin, you're on with Treyshaun Mitchell, J. Reed Hardy, and Coach Littles. What's happening, Devin?
That's my boy.
What's going on?
Devin, what's happening?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're on with Coach Littles, J. Reed Hardy, and Treyshaun Mitchell. What's on your mind?
Can I ask them a few questions?
You sure? You can ask a couple questions.
What are y'all goals for this season?
Goals for this season. J. Reed, you're up first. Tell us what your goals are.
Of course, to win states, but this our teammate too. This
our
linebacker.
Devin Chambliss, the linebacker, and he's a pretty key part to your defense. So, Devin, these guys help open up some plays for you to make, right?
Yes, sir.
And of course, you also allow them to also have to be able to get that pressure on the quarterback. So it goes hand in hand, right? Devin, you out there? Did we lose you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Treyshaun, what's your goals for the season? We heard J. Reed say.
My number one goal is to do my job at the best of my ability. That's that.
All right, good. I didn't put no exact number of wins or we're going to do this, win this. Just do your job. The old Bill Belichick Patriots thought. I like that. All right. What else you got to ask him, Devin?
Who is the best middle linebacker in the district?
Best looking linebacker in the district. There's some good ones now.
Yeah.
So you gonna go with Devin?
I'm still rocking with man.
All right.
Yeah, Devin is a very underrated player. Like, he made a lot of plays last year, and I feel like people are not giving him his credit. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Some love from your teammate there, Devin. Chance for you to shine and go get another district title and go further in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I ain't really want none. I love y'all boys, though, man.
Love
You too, bro.
Appreciate you calling in, Devin. Coach, you got some other unheralded guys. You touched on a few of them. Devin Chambliss being one. Elijah Askew another. We saw Corey Foster last night. Any other guys that you would think of either side of the ball that might be a little underappreciated or not known about this year, but by game 10 or going into the playoffs, people should know who they are?
Absolutely. I think we'll start with Garrett Williams. I think a lot of people don't know who Garrett Williams is.
He's a corner, right?
He's a corner safety for us. He makes a lot of plays for us. He's started ever since he was a freshman. Gonna have a big junior year. But then some of the newcomers, you got Mark Dyer, who's kind of solidified himself at that quarterback position. Reminds me a lot of Justin German. Might actually even have a little more zip on his ball than Justin does. Leo Wethington, he showed us last night what we already thought he was, which is a bruiser. But actually showed he can run away from some people too. Ripped off about a 70-yard touchdown run. Kahari Rogers is a guy that has solidified himself at wide receiver. You don't replace a Sherrod Joe. But at the end of the day, I think Kahari has worked his tail off to put himself in position to make the plays we need him to make on the ball down the field. Elijah Askew is 6'2", 245 pounds. He proved last night he could be pretty physical, along with Devin Chambliss, who's another 6 foot, 225 pound inside linebacker. Damian Rose solidified himself at that outside backer position. Very athletic, a lot like Brian Walker. Might actually be a step faster than Brian Walker. So we're improving across the board. Jeremiah Bryant has had a great camp. He's been in the program since day one. Is a defensive back, wide receiver kid for us. Made a lot of plays on the ball last night. And like T. Mitch said, do your job. And a lot of our kids are doing their jobs right now, and that's what it's going to take to beat the teams that we got to beat to get where we want to go.
We're chatting with Kings Fork head football coach Scottie Littles in studio with us, as well as two of his standout players. We've got Treyshaun Mitchell and J. Reed Hardy of the Bulldogs here. Give us a call if you want to talk to them at 757-687-9494. That's area code 757-687-9494 here on ESPN Radio 94.1. And
hey, Matt, sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
I forgot one person, and can't ever forget this guy, Jordan Chambliss. I think Jordan, he's so underrated. And that happens when you play next to two guys like Treyshaun and J. Reed. He played D tackle last year. He lost some weight this year. Told him that defensive end would be the best spot for him, and he has shown us that he can do that. He can squeeze pop. He can get down the line of scrimmage. He can be physical at 6'3", 270 pounds. So we're excited about that. We're big up front, and if those guys continue to improve and get physical, it's going to be scary.
And for some that don't know this, those defensive ends are making plays oftentimes because they're good, number one, but number two, these two guys occupying blocks with J-Ree and Treyshaun, and you had Dennis Whitehead and you had Sam Dunn last year. And I'm imagining Jordan Chambliss, there's a relation to Devin Chambliss, right?
Negative.
Oh, they're not?
No
really?
relation whatsoever.
Wow, I was wrong on that.
Yeah, so, but you couldn't tell. They're brothers in the locker room, on the field, around the school.
Absolutely.
And those two right there, they make a lot happen for us on defense. A lot of the things that we get to do, might not be, what other coaches seem is the best way to do it, but those two allow us to do it and have the success that we have. So we're excited about it, and we just got to keep improving and doing the right things daily.
And you mentioned the name Leo Wethington, cousin of Deshaun Wethington, the former record-setting running back at Kings Fork, who went on to Towson to play his college football. Let's go back to the phones for J-Ree Hardy, Treyshaun Mitchell, the Kings Fork Bulldogs, and their coach Scottie Little, 757-687-9494. We'll get you in here. We talk to Jay in Newport News. You're on ESPN Radio 94.1, Jay.
Yeah, I just want to say, watch out for Denby next year.
Watch out for Denby next year. Okay.
So we got a running back, Kaheem Scott, so he needs to get his foot better. We might be like that this year.
Okay, you got any questions or comments for Coach Littles and two of his guys here? We got Treyshaun Mitchell and J-Ree Hardy.
Yeah. How fast can y'all run the 40?
All right, 40-yard dash. Thanks for the call, Jay. 40-yard dash. Well, linemen's 40 times aren't as important, but so who wins the race? I want to know, not between you guys and Coach Littles. Who wins the foot race?
That's easy.
Easy?
Wow.
I heard he had good get-off back in his day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, right now.
2018, man.
I don't understand why they act
look,
like I'm so old.
No
like
shade
back
to Coach,
in the day.
though. He done got married and got comfortable. You see that stomach? You see that stomach?
Comfortable. Whoa. Ooh,
Hey,
Treyshaun, you're playing with fire here.
Yeah, but those guys both get off better than mine's ever was, and they're both better players than I ever was. But the thing that makes them good is they take the coach, and they got a great D-line coach in Anthony Jofrion, who was a pretty good player at Ocean Lakes in his time. They got they listen to me. I got some tools here and there, and they got Coach Gail, who's got some tools here and there. So, but what God blessed those two with, and their ability to listen and take coaching is giving them the success that they have.
Thanks for the call, Jay, but I'm gonna turn it around a little bit, because if you ask who wins the 40, they're gonna always say me, me, me. So I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna ask Coach Littles, who wins the 40 between Coach Joffrion and Coach Littles?
I don't know. Both of them some blocks. But
It'd be a tight race, wouldn't it?
yeah.
I mean, they might be able to beat me because I'm super slow, but
Hey, look, Coach Joe get focused. That's a whole nother Coach Joe.
okay.
Of course, Coach Joe gonna win that.
All right. So you think it'll matter more to him than it will to Coach Littles? Is that what you're kind of hitting at?
Coach Littles, when he run, he take like little baby stuff. I don't know what he be doing.
Oh, goodness. All right, Coach Littles, who wins the – I know both of these guys, when they're after a quarterback, it's neck and neck. Who wins the 40 between these two guys?
Between Treyshaun and J-Ree?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I'm going to have to go with T. Mitch.
Oh,
that's crazy.
T. Mitch.
See, I think he's a little upset because you've been beating him in 8-ball. That's what it is, right?
So,
Folks who don't know, they've been playing 8-ball this morning here in the studio, Coach Littles and J-Ree, and I think J-Ree's been getting the better of him. So he's upset a little bit right there.
T. Mitch can move, man. Yes, T. Mitch gets to pumping them arms. T. Mitch can move. J-Ree can move too, but it'll be a tight race, but I think I'd have to put my money on T. Mitch down the stretch.
All right. Do you know what y'all's 40 time is? For linemen, it's not that big a deal. No idea?
I haven't ran a 40 in a while.
Okay. Yeah. The main thing, though, is you guys in the trenches. What is it? I want you to tell me, watching each other's games. Start with you, Treyshaun. What is it you like most about J-Ree's game?
His hands. Like, I honestly feel like if I had the hands he had, man. I mean, J-Ree, he's fast off the ball. He's a finesser, like I said earlier. I'm more of I use my brute force, and that's why I feel like I'm better at nose than I am at D tackle.
Okay. What about you, J-Ree? What would you say about Mr. Mitchell's game here that you either envy or like most?
His power, of course. Cause can't nobody move him, so it's hard to run the ball on him in the middle, especially.
Tell me about, too, with Coach Littles and the program he's got now at Kings Fork. You guys certainly have high expectations and goals. What would you attribute to the key to the program's growth and turnaround to where now you guys are talking about district, region, state titles? And a lot of programs talk about it, but you guys have already accomplished one of those goals. I know you have 2 more in mind.
Yeah, our leadership, that's a big part of it. Yeah, we have leaders. We should be able to go. We'll go if we take coaching from our great coaches.
Well, I feel like a lot of our players was there when we went. I think it was 5-2. It was in my freshman year.
Yeah.
So
I think you guys finished up 5-6 or something like that.
Yeah. And a lot of the players we have now was there at the time. Maybe not on varsity, but on JV. And we went 11-2. It fueled the fire. You know, we're very determined now. Like we don't like wish. We want to get to the playoffs or stuff like that. Like, we know we're going to get there because of our hard work and our leadership.
Got a few more minutes to chime in here with Coach Scottie Littles of the Kings Fork Bulldogs and a couple of his standout players, Treyshaun Mitchell, J. Hardy. Give us a call at 757-687-9494. That's area code 757-687-9494 right here on ESPN Radio 94.1. Before we go to break and do our Fact or Fiction game, which I know you guys have been anxiously awaiting. Coach, I know it takes a village. It's not a one-man show on the field and also on the coaching side of things. So tell the listeners a little bit about some of the members of your coaching staff. We hit on a little bit Coach Joffrey Don and Coach Gale earlier, but I know some of the guys that have been instrumental in your program's growth.
Absolutely. You know, you've talked about Joff and Gale. Excuse me. But, you know, you got Coach LaRae Kendrick, who played at Kings Fork, you know, played at EC at Elizabeth City State, coaches our wide receivers. Leo Ely's been with the program since, you know, they built the building. You know, coaches our running backs. You got Coach Trail, Lyndon Trail, who played at Norfolk State, played in the NFL for a while, coaches our linebackers. You know, you got Mason Williams, who's a middle school coach, a middle school teacher, and our middle school head coach and JV head coach, who does an amazing job with that young group. And you know, it's just a great group of guys. The thing that I'm excited about and that makes it fun to go to work is they never make it about them. It's about what we have to do to put these kids in positions to be successful on and off the field, and always putting them in the program first. And you know, so it makes it fun to come to work and makes it fun to, you know, do what we do. And I really appreciate those guys. And I couldn't do what I do, or the program wouldn't be where it was at without those guys.
Well, I was out there a couple weeks ago for the Kings Fork Basketball Summer League, and I found it interesting, and I'll get your take, Coach, then you guys can chime in on it, Treyshaun and Jay Reed. I go to a lot of schools around the state, as you know, different events, football, basketball, you name it, all the sports. And sometimes you'll see after practice or things, kids will just, you know, go around here. All your guys were sitting together, and it had to have been about a good group of 40 or 50 of them. Coach, how much is that you see? I mean, you guys preach the family and team and togetherness, but they're experiencing it even after practice, to actually witness it as opposed to just you guys saying it.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that we've built and changed since I've taken over. You know, they're a tight-knit group in the locker room, off the field, on the field, you know, in the hallways, in the community. You know, the signs hang up all throughout our locker room, PTR, family, you know, doing the right things, and they've really embraced that. And they, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they're friends at the end of the day, and we don't have a lot of selfish guys. We don't have a lot of me guys, a lot of ego guys, and you know that that can go back to, you know, the culture we've built as a staff, and the players being willing to respond to that and meet the expectations. So they do a great job. You know, I love them all, and you know we get after it daily, and we're a family.
And Treyshaun, I would imagine winning helps cure all ills. In terms of once you guys started winning, you guys got even closer. Was that fair to say, or?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
What would you guys say, Jay Reed, chiming in too with the amount of time you guys bond off the field and even after practice? Because it's easy for one or two guys to pull a team apart.
Yeah, we're like a brotherhood though. Like, we all together. Like, if anybody try to step in between it, we're gonna speak on it. Yeah, we like all brothers. It's like really a family.
Well, one more segment here with J. Reed Hardy, Kings Fork Bulldogs defensive tackle, two-way lineman Treyshaun Mitchell. Both guys named second-team All-State a year ago. I know they got their eyes on first-team All-State. They're going to try to beat each other out for Player of the Year on the defensive side of the district, and who knows, maybe on the regional and state level. And their coach, Scottie Littles, who once upon a time was a player himself for the state champion Lansdowne Eagles. You remember those glory days they had with Damon McDaniel and Percy Harvin and that crew. He's now the head football coach of the Kings Fork Bulldogs in year number 3. Got a couple more minutes to chime in at 757-687-9494. 9494. Also hit us up on Twitter, too, at HS Sports Talk 941, HS Sports Talk 941. If you can't get through at 757-687-9494. But when we return, it's fact or fiction time. We're going to throw 5 questions at 1 point apiece. Maybe Thomas can find some kind of catchy music. Who knows? And then we got a bonus question worth 2 points to see who will win. J. Hardy and Treyshaun Mitchell team up against Coach Scottie Littles. That's coming next on America's favorite sports station, ESPN Radio 94.1.
You're listening to High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Now back to your host, Matt Hatfield.
All right, back here on the program, it is time for everyone's favorite game, otherwise known as fact or fiction. True or false? Fact is true. Fiction is false. For some of you novices out there that don't know what in the world we're talking about, here's how it goes. And I'll play the host here for this, since Coach Ed Young is not here to lose to you guys or Coach Littles. We ask 5 questions, and generally it's high school sports related. Today they're all high school sports related. Sometimes we throw in some college and pro questions. They're worth 1 point apiece. We have 2 bonus questions worth 1 point apiece as additional parts of a question today, but then we have the super bonus question, which is worth 2 points. So even if you're up 1 or down 1, you're not out of it till the very end. And we will should we let Coach Littles go first?
I think we should let the... Yeah.
What do you think, Thomas? Should we let Coach go first, or the 2 young men go first?
Yeah, why not? We'll let Coach go first.
Wow, I think he's teaming up with Thomas now. I see how this is working. They're going to try to... see, Coach Littles can't handle you guys both. He's got to have a teammate here. So here we go. It's worth 1 point apiece. Fact or fiction? Coach Littles, you're up for question number 1. Kings Fork's first touchdown and on-field win came against Woodrow Wilson. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to go with fiction.
All right, you're going to go with fiction. Treyshaun and Jay Reed, Kings Fork's first touchdown and on-field win came against Woodrow Wilson. You can agree with Coach or you can disagree. It's up to you. Coach said fiction.
We agree with Coach.
You agree with Coach. It's fiction. These guys are smart cookies. It is fiction. They actually beat Norview 24-21 in the 2005 season opener. Later granted a forfeit win over Nansemond River in 2004, but we said the first touchdown and on-field win. So all 3 get a point. Well, I guess Coach Littles gets a point, and Jay Reed and Treyshaun, the tag team combo of D tackles, get a point as well. Question 2, and the fellas are up first. That's Treyshaun and Jay Reed. There's 5 area districts that play football. Southeastern, which you guys are in, the Beach, the Eastern, the Peninsula, and the Bay Rivers. Of those 5 districts, the Southeastern had the most teams qualify for the playoffs last year. Is that a fact, or is that fiction?
That's a fact.
Jay Reed says that's a fact. Do you agree with them, Treyshaun?
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and agree with him.
All right. Coach Littles, your guys say it's a fact. Of the 5 area districts that play football in Hampton Roads, you guys are in the Southeastern, but there's also the Bay Rivers, the Beach, the Peninsula, and the Eastern. The Southeastern had the most teams qualify for the playoffs last year. Is that a fact, or is that fiction?
I'm going to say that's a fact. I'm going to agree with them.
You're going to agree with them. No disagreeing, Thomas. This isn't as fun as I was hoping, but it's still a fun game. Well, I hate to burst your bubbles, guys, and the Southeastern is arguably one of the toughest, if not toughest in the state. It wasn't the most. The Southeastern had 6, but the Beach and the Bay Rivers shared the distinction with 7. So nobody gets a point on that one. Wow. Southeastern had 6. Beach and Bay Rivers had 7. The Eastern had 6 as well. Peninsula had 5. But ironically, the Eastern, all 6 of their teams got shut out in the first round. None of them won, I should say. So Coach Littles is up for question 3. It's still 1-1, our game. Fact or fiction on ESPN Radio 94.1, High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. We got Kings Fork Bulldogs in studio. Coach Littles is going head-to-head with 2 of his standouts, J. Hardy and Treyshaun Mitchell, for fact or fiction. Coach Littles, of all the public school teams in Hampton Roads, Tab enters the season, that's Tab, T-A-B-B High School, enters this season on the longest current winning streak. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
That's fiction.
Coach Littles says fiction. Fellas, of all the public school teams in the Hampton Roads area, Tab enters this season, T-A-B-B Tab, on the longest current winning streak. Is that a fact, or as Coach Littles said, it's fiction?
Fiction.
You guys go fiction. Coach Littles goes fiction. and I hate to burst your bubbles again, it's a fact. Here's why. They started out 0-7, didn't make the playoffs, but they won their last 3 regular season games. So believe it or not, Tab has the longest winning streak going into this year. It's 1-1.
With the trick questions this morning.
Trick question, yeah, it's a tricky. But they on a 3-game winning streak. They won their last 3 games. All right, question 4. You guys are up first, but hey, think about it. Coach hasn't beaten you yet. You're still in good shape. You're still right there to steal it from him right there at the end and break his heart. Question 4. The first shutout win for Kings Fork in its football history came against a Suffolk school. So it would either be Lakeland or Nansemond River. Is that a fact or is that fiction? The first shutout win for Kings Fork in its football program history came against a Suffolk school. Treyshaun and Jay Ree are mulling over what the answer is. Is it a fact? Is that true or is it fiction?
It's a fact.
All right, the guys say it's fact, Coach. Chance for you to take the lead or go down one, or you can stay right there with them if you agree. Kings Fork's first shutout in football.
I don't really. I'm gonna go fiction, but
You're gonna go fiction.
Here's why.
All right.
Because it's only 3 of us in Suffolk, and those games are tough. Both those teams get up when we play, and it's always a good game. So I'm gonna say fiction.
That's really good logic and thinking, Thomas, by Coach Littles there. Really good thinking. But I hate to tell you, Coach, you're wrong. The kids are right. It's a fact. Nansemond River. Kings Fork shut them out 46-0 in 2008, their 5th year of existence. So Treyshaun and Jay Reed lead 2-1. But, Coach, you're not out of it yet. You can still grab it from them. So you're up first for question 5. Last year in the playoffs, the Bulldogs, you guys scored a school record 70 points when you beat Jamestown. But the regular season record for points for Kings Fork is 60, and it came against a Southeastern District foe. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I'm going to go fact.
You're going to go fact. All right, guys, you're up 1. You can either extend your lead, disagree, and you can disagree and be tied with them, or you can play it safe and agree with them. And, Coach, your answer again was?
Fact.
Coach is saying fact. Guys, the question again, last year in the playoffs, the Bulldogs scored a school record 70 points when you beat Jamestown in the first round. But the regular season record for points is 60 against a Southeastern District foe. Coach says fact. What do you guys say?
Fiction.
Guys, you're all deadlocked. Coach is right on this one. Fact. 60 against Deep Creek back in 2012. So here we go. The all-important bonus question to decide it all. Thomas, who's up first? It's the kids, right? They go first on this one, right?
Yeah, it just flips, doesn't it?
All right, yeah, we flip it. So here we go. Bonus question. This is worth 2 points, guys. Percy Harvin. He was a teammate of Coach Little's back at Lansdowne High School, right? He was also a member of the Seattle Seahawks. He had an 87-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to open the second half of Super Bowl 48 against the Denver Broncos. You guys remember that Super Bowl? Yeah, okay. He became the 10th and last player to return one for a touchdown in Super Bowl history. Of those 10 kickoff returns for touchdowns in Super Bowl history, Percy Harvin's is the only one against the Denver Broncos. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
I gotta go with fact.
You're thinking fact? You're not going to discuss it with Treyshaun? Just what do you guys think? You sure? Fact? Fiction? What do you think? You sticking with Jay Ree?
Yeah, I'm going to go with fact.
All right, the guys say it's a fact. Coach Littles, you played with Percy Harvin at Lansdowne High School, member of the Seahawks now. Or it was a member of the Seahawks, I should say. Just retired not too long ago. Kickoff return, 87 yards, open up Super Bowl 48 second half against the Denver Broncos. 10th guy to do it, last one in Super Bowl history. Of those 10, he's the only one in Super Bowl history to return a kickoff for a touchdown against the Denver Broncos. The guys say it's a fact. What do you say?
I'm going to go with fiction.
Coach is going to go fiction. Who wins the game, Thomas? Who do you think's right? Let's see if Thomas knows this. What do you think, Thomas?
I feel like it is fiction for some reason. I feel like the second one happened against the Broncos back in the Elway days.
Oh, I hate to break your hearts, guys. Coach is right. It's fiction.
I wanted to say
Tim
fiction.
Dwight of the Atlanta Falcons did it against John Elway's Broncos in Super Bowl 33, a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So you guys had the lead, but Coach had the comeback to win, and now he's going to brag until the end of time.
And that means is how you split a double team.
That's how you split a double team. Wow, Coach Littles defeats Treyshaun Mitchell and J.R. Hardy. But, fellas, it's going to be hard to defeat you guys on the field. Thank you for coming in studio. We wish you all the best this coming year. Looking forward to Friday nights over there at Kings Fork, and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
That is Treyshaun Mitchell and J.R. Hardy, the two defensive tackle monsters of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, and their coach, Scottie Little. Coach, thanks for bringing the guys and coming by. We appreciate it greatly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and appreciate you guys having us, and go Bulldogs, and Forks Up.
There you go. Forks Up. Follow them on Twitter, too, at ForksUp04. And we thank all our guests this morning, not just the Kings Fork Bulldogs. They were great here for the second hour. We also had on Robert Jones of Norfolk State men's basketball program and some coaches, Denny Dodson of Woodside, Bill Sachelski of Cox, Hank Sawyer of Lake Taylor, and Jelani Fair of Princess Anne. If you missed any of the show, well, you can catch the archive episodes on VirginiaPreps.com. Make sure you listen every Saturday on your radio, on the computer, on your phone, ESPNRadio941.com, and VirginiaPreps.com. We thank our producer-engineer, Thomas Simmons. I'm Matt Hatfield, and next Saturday we'll have the coach, Ed Young, back from his assignment. We'll talk to you then on August the 18th on your home for sports, ESPN Radio 94.1.